Hey everyone, me Kevin here. In this video, we're going to talk about the complete and utter failure of the multi-millionaire YouTuber Meet Kevin. That's me. In this video, I'm just going to have a conversation with hopefully all of you who are interested in failure. And it's really interesting how society works because especially today in the social media world that we're in, it's very, very common when someone fails or has a failure in their career for other people to kind of regularly bring that up and keep kicking you until you die. That's actually a life though. And so what I wanted to do is think back to some of the failures of my entrepreneurial career. For example, when I first became a real estate agent, it took me 11 months to close my first deal. That was very difficult because at the time, I felt like I was going from floundering at my job working at Red Robin on the expediter line / host line to not being able to do more. And it was very frustrating because even though I felt like I knew I would be a fantastic server and I wanted to be a server and I knew I could work hard as a server, the powers that be kind of kept their foot or on my neck, so to speak, right? So, and I think that's a symbol of how many of us feel in a terrible economy. We work harder and we want to get ahead. We want to do more and give more. Heck, we've been giving more and we've been doing more, but we just feel like we're not getting ahead. And it's frustrating because we feel like the universe is purposefully trying to align things in a way to say, nope, you're not allowed to get ahead. And then you get frustrated. Sort of like, oh, must be the manager, must be someone in the server staff who doesn't want me to be a server because they're worried about getting more tables themselves. Oh, must be corporate. Oh, must be, some policy or whatever, right? And it's really common when we're in sort of a cycle. I always think of things in cycles. We're in sort of a low cycle to point the finger and say, that's it. They're the reason there's failure. That was basically how I always felt as a child, whether it was going from playing video games like RuneScape and wanting to be a forum mod to not being able to become a forum mod for Jagex, but being able to be a forum mod and working with a great community at this website called Rune HQ back then, where I felt fortunate to be able to contribute quest guides or help forum moderate and build out a community. That was really enjoyable. I really loved that. And I'm a big fan of always working hard, but it's really interesting because sometimes the universe just makes it feel like, you know what, you're not going to be a server. You are not going to be a forum mod. You are not going to go down in that direction, whatever direction that is. It's happened many, many times. For example, back in 2017-ish, I created this construction company called Meet and Done, which was really a tool for me as a real estate agent to build out my real estate agent business because here's some pictures. I was able to go, I just Google Meet Kevin, real estate agent. This is my Prius from back in the day. See, this is probably, 12 years old now or whatever. But anyway, it was really common back in the day to have to help your clients, and I'm sure it is still today, although today's real estate market's pretty tough, to have to help your clients basically renovate their home in order for them to sell it. And so I thought, okay, well, the biggest hardship I have in coordinating repairs is basically finding somebody to do the first 10% of the work and the last 10% of the work. It's like that fill-in handy person who's gonna, take off the doorknobs at the beginning and at the end, straighten all the screws for you. So here's my real estate cycle that I had on my wall. Everything's a cycle. The no pressure agent, the trademark, whatever. Look at this. I did little pizza box flyers. It was really funny is I found that these these challenges that I faced throughout my entire life, there was always this feeling of we can solve this, and then sometimes the realization that you're not meant to solve it. And I thought that was something interesting I wanted to have a discussion about. So how does this relate to business and entrepreneurship? Well, here's how. So as someone who always wants to improve and provide more, when we created this construction company in 2017, we did a great job providing work for ourselves. In other words, rentals or renovations that we were entirely coordinating, they were the highest quality, they were on budget or close to budget to where they were still extremely profitable and reasonable, and they were great jobs. It was a fantastic business to have. The downside was when I decided, I'm going to expand into doing remodels on behalf of other people, where somebody else is like, I want the crown molding to be this style. And then you go install the crown molding and they're like, when I said this style, I didn't mean a flat piece of contemporary molding. I meant this ornate style of molding. Can you go back and redo all of that work because I said this with my hands and you didn't clarify and you're the boss, so therefore you're going to pay it. And it's really funny because to me, I look back and go, man, every time in sort of history or the history of entrepreneurship, I realized when I failed at trying to solve something that I really, really was passionate about solving, I ended up being able to find a better path. I ended up in a better place. For example, when I didn't become a server, I became a real estate agent, which set off the entire path of not just helping people buy and remodel homes, buy wedge deals, but teaching people about wedge deals at coffee shops. I would get clients because they would see me at a coffee shop almost every day teaching people about how to buy wedge deals and build your net worth. Because what's actually funny is, even though I wasn't a financial advisor then, you're allowed to give real estate advice as a real estate agent. And I became a real estate broker as well. Not that that makes any practical difference. But anyway, people would say, you know what, I've watched you give advice at this coffee shop every Sunday for the last 20 weeks. I need to sell a house. You seem like the guy who knows what he's doing. Can I work with you? And it's really interesting when that snowball starts getting built, how that snowball can expand over time. But that snowball started because I failed at becoming a server. Becoming a server failed because, or not becoming a server and failing at becoming a server, working in the restaurant business didn't work out, but I came to work there because of other failures. For example, I didn't become a cop. I stopped being a police explorer. I moved to California and, moved in with Lauren and Lauren's parents back when I was in high school and when I was 16 years old. And that was sort of a really scary reset for me as a 16-year-old because I was leaving my high school. I was leaving the friends that I had in Florida. I was leaving everything that I knew that I had in Florida from, again, being a police explorer, the job I had in Florida, the friends I had in Florida, the school I had in Florida, the debate team I had in Florida. I was leaving everything to reset out to California. And so it's so interesting because I think of, having left Florida is kind of like did I fail Florida? But California ended up being so much better. And then did I fail in the video game world? But then that got me into working at Jamba Juice, which did I fail at getting a green hat at Jamba Juice? That was always the thing. If you had the orange hat, you were sort of, the shift worker, and then you had the green hat, you're the shift manager, which I never became the shift manager, which led me to go to Red Robin, which that failure at not becoming a server led me to become a real estate agent, which the failures within being a real estate agent of I can solve that, and then, nope, that's not meant to be solved, led me to go to YouTube. What's interesting about YouTube is YouTube and social media are really just a public example of your own failures, right? The internet doesn't forget, as people say. And it's really popular to kick on people. For example, here's somebody that I thought was my friend, Tom Nash, who says, quote, "This man says, quote, fire Elon." Well, this is something that, A, is not true. I think that Elon should remain at Tesla? Absolutely. I think you need somebody. Remember how even when Steve Jobs was at Apple, and a lot of people don't like Apple. They're like, oh, Apple's woke and this stuff or whatever. It's like boycott Apple. Fine, whatever. But the point is, even when you had kind of like the loose cannon Steve Jobs, you had that cooling force of like that behind the scenes Woz, the engineer, or Tim Cook to kind of like do the PR stuff. Like, all I'm saying is you need somebody in conjunction with Elon to do that. Like, I think Elon's trying to do all of it. He is a brilliant person. We need Elon. Like, and I think that's what people forget, right? Like, I love Elon. I think Elon's an inspiration. And no, Elon should not be fired. That's not what I said. When I said he should stop doing the business PR role, because he's not the best at the PR department. I think we could do better. And I think any of us would agree, as long-term shareholders or not, I think we can agree. Yeah, they could do a little better with PR. Okay, they got Twitter on lock, but we've got more people to sell cars to than just Twitter, okay? But this is normal, right? This is like, you know, for example, let's talk about it. The whole FTX disaster. Like, that is obviously a failure within my YouTube career. I warned about stablecoins as far back as 2011, and I was completely blind to the risks that a crypto brokerage or many crypto brokerages could go bankrupt. I invested in companies like BlockFi, Robinhood. I lost a lot of money on those investments. I put my money where my mouth was, and I thought I was protected by staying away from stablecoins. But I didn't realize when stablecoins collapsed, which I got a lot of hate for saying stablecoins would collapse. And that was another failure. That was a PR failure of mine. This PR failure of mine is like, hey, I think stablecoins are dangerous. We should be careful. Everybody gets mad, unsub, dislike, I hate you, you're a shill for the suits or whatever. I'm like, okay. And then, you know, Terra Luna collapses, but it takes down all the brokerages too. And I'm like, well, shit. I thought I saw this coming with the stable coins. I definitely did not see that coming with the brokerages all going down. You know, Robinhood losing a lot of value, or you know, FTX's brutal collapse, Celsius, whatever. And you know, you could do whatever you want to try to mitigate that, but that doesn't stop people on the internet from being like, well, you're the loser who made, you know, $120,000 being sponsored by FTX. And it's like, well, damn, I wish I never got paid that, obviously, in hindsight, because everybody was defrauded who was involved in it. And so, you know, you're still always going to get people who are like, you're a scam. It's like, well, I guess I'm a mega scam because I've had a lot of failures. I'm a scam because I didn't become a server. I was a scam when I was a video game player. I was a scam as a police explorer. I was a scam when, you know, I finished my jobs as a licensed contractor for real estate clients, and then I'm like, I ain't doing that anymore. We're shutting that business down. We're just going to go back to just doing real estate sales because we're doing that really well. That's making a lot of money, and that's a money-losing business, so let's shut that down, that meet and done business, which I really liked, meet and done. You know, I've just realized being a contractor for somebody else, the best way to do that, in case you're ever interested, in my opinion, is you have to charge really high premiums, and then you could be a briefcase contractor where you just coordinate other people and subcontract other people. But if you're gonna have your guys do the whole job, you better charge a freaking premium as well. Like, it is so hard because all of those mistakes, you have to be able to absorb those. Like, hey man, you know, like, I'll give you another example. We had hardwood flooring downstairs in a property, carpet on the stairs, and carpet upstairs. And so we bid replace flooring. Carpet will be 8-pound pad, this grade, this color, and will be installed by this date. Like, I had that all scripted out, right? And then I'm like, floor will be exactly this box, will have exactly this type of baseboard. This is the one you want, right? Everything's scripted out, you know, and I'm like, no mistakes here. It's literally exactly scripted out on the floor. It's exactly scripted out what we're gonna do with the carpet. So we install everything. And the client's like, what is this? And I'm like, well, it's exactly what we put in the paperwork. He's like, I wanted hardwood floor on the stairs. And I'm like, no, bro, there was carpet on the stairs, and we put carpet on the stairs. It's all right here. And there was hardwood downstairs, and we did that. He's like, well, I wanted to upgrade and do flooring on the stairs. I'm like, bro, that's like the most expensive part, man. Don't do that to me. He's like, I want hardwood on the floor. I'm like, fuck. And it's like, all right, here's your hardwood on the floor. And I'm like, I'm done with this. Right? It's very difficult. Now, some of that obviously is like, you can try to blame everybody else, but that's just, you have to point the finger at yourself. I failed to realize what a lot of other people failed as well with FTX, but that's still my failure. I failed at becoming a server for some reason. Maybe my customer service wasn't as good as it should have been. I failed at being a Jagex moderator, maybe because my posts weren't good enough. Maybe I failed at doing contracting for other people because I was trying to do contracting for other people at the same time as running the real estate business, which took a lot of work, and I was out of balance. And so I ended up not being able to do the right job and think those things through. So that's a risk. I think the same thing is true here. Like, this is obviously, you know, whatever. I could point the finger and go, oh, you're a scumbag. I thought you were my friend, whatever. Or it's my failure to properly communicate my thesis, which is that, look, I think Elon would actually benefit in his mission of sustainability by revising some of the things that he does just a little bit of PR tweaks. That's all I'm saying. You know, and my vision is simply that, and the same thing here with YouTube, right? You could be like, oh, well, you know, Kevin, you know, you are hiding all your videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no. Like, obviously now that in hindsight I look and I'm like, well, that was a failure and a communications failure. My thinking was, oh, we're gonna get to go through my old videos, and we're gonna be able to react to them and kind of like bring life to them again. Because I was going through the YouTube Analytics Studio, you know, when they're all there, and I'm like, bro, these videos aren't getting views. Like, those old videos, they get views and then they go to 0. And I'm like, what's the point? Like, let's just breathe life back into the ones that are worthy of having life breathed back into them, because nobody's watching the other ones anyway. Now it's sort of like, well, I guess I didn't manage the expectation that people would be like, well, but what if I wanted to go look at it? At least it's there. It's like, So, where do you go from here? Okay, well, let's talk about that. So, where you go from here is really interesting. There are two things you can do as an entrepreneur when something doesn't work out, when either you just failed, or you are failing, or you made a mistake, or you improperly communicated something, or whatever. I think the first thing we all have to do, and this is the hardest part, is you have to look inward and you have to be able to say, yeah, I fucked it. It's my fault. It's what it is. I have to take responsibility for everything. You know, I have to take responsibility for, you know, sometimes, or at least once having missed a stop sign. I have to take responsibility for FTX. I have to take responsibility for that contractor biz. I have to take responsibility for the surf. All of the things that I've done, I have to take responsibility for the failures. But I also get to take responsibility for the successes if I take responsibility for the failures. And I think at a bare minimum, many of us, we can look and we can say, just the mere fact that we're sitting here watching this video is already a win. And some people are going to say, well, you won the ovarian lottery. You were born in a first world country, you know, or you had this advantage or whatever. Oh, you're privileged or that or whatever. Okay. Well, some things are what they are, and we're going to take the cards we're dealt with, and we're going to go, well, I could do the best I can with this, or you could give up. So there's sort of like the two directions that you could go. You can give up, which is very, very common. It is extremely common to just give up. The thing is, it's easier to give up. It's way easier to say, F it, I give up. Because that is the least painful. You can accept that, okay, well, maybe it's not meant to be, and you give up, and it stops the pain of failure. Because what really hurts is when you're trying and you're not growing, instead you're failing. And it's easier then to just stop trying, and then, I mean, you fail with certainty then, but you stop trying, and then you just try to do something different. I've always thought of life as sort of like being in like a jungle, and you have like your little wood hut amongst the trees, and you kind of gotta like go on your little quests, And by going on your quest, you're kind of grabbing onto the monkey vine, and then I'm gonna go over here. Oh, okay, that was a failure. This time I'm gonna go that way, and then you kind of have to go back to your little house. So it's sort of like you're constantly going on these like roams in life, and it's like, all right, I'm coming back to the house. Did I get loot or did I get my ass beat? So hopefully you come back with loot, and that's the goal, is you come back with some victory. Now, practically, what does this mean? Well, practically, what this means is I need to really double down on what I think folks want and what I want, which is to, in sort of an order of priority, number one, make sure that we stick to the schedule that we have, which in the description down below, there's a Meet Kevin live podcast or a channel. That's where I will be live every day the market is open at 5:25 a.m., whether you want to watch or not. I will be there. Market open live stream. It's a different channel, so make sure you go there, hit the notification bell so you get notified for it. If you want to watch the podcast with me, Mikey McKay, Meet Kevin, Mikey McKay, the 3 M's, subscribe to the podcast channel down below. If you want to watch me talk about politics, I've done some really great videos already on politics. Meet Kevin Politics down below. I'm also going to be posting videos to the HouseHack channel, so you can stay up to date with what's going on with HouseHack. You want to watch those videos, subscribe to that channel down below. And if you want to see sort of broader, deeper update videos that are edited and posted rather than live, you can subscribe here. So priority number one is always continuing to provide that base level of value that I do here. So whether you think I'm a scam or you hate me, I'm just going to keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep trying, because that's always what has worked for me. I've always been able to just wake up, fortunately, knock on wood that we keep being able to do that. Thank you to the gods. And then say, you know what? This is a hard time. This feels like crap. I lost a deal in real estate as a buyer or as an agent. I didn't get the listing or whatever. I guess that just means I have to wake up and work harder today. I guess that just means I have to work twice as hard because that person got the deal. But you know what? Maybe my pitch was bad. Maybe I said something to piss them off. I've done that before too. Like I've gone to listing presentations before, just as an example, where I'll have like 3 people, and it's like a trust. It's like an estate, and there's 3 people, and there's like this one lady who's got this stare, and she's like this, and then they're like the 3 dudes, and they're all like, "All right, man, tell us what we should do." Okay, yeah, that flooring? Okay, great. That paint color? Okay, got it. And and we're like, so, I don't know, we're relating over video games because I had a video game chair with one of them, and the other one's like, oh, I like paintball, and I'm like, I was just paintball, and you go to this field now. And I'm relating really well with these 3 guys. And at the end of the listing presentation, all 3 of these guys are like, bro, we need to go out for beer sometime or whatever. And these are people who are like 20 years older than me, and they're like, this was so great. Thank you so much. You're such a great agent. We can't wait to work with you. And I'm like, man, I got that deal in the bag. And then like a week later, it's listed with some other agent, and I'm like, what the hell? and then the first thing that goes through your mind is like, they just milked me for information. They just wanted to know what floor's in or the paint colors. Screw them, man. They suck. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, Kevin, you idiot. The lady who was there staring at me, she was probably the decision maker. And I related with the guys, but not her. Once, she probably felt, this guy thinks I'm invisible. He must be a misogynist douchebag, only relating to the dudes. Well, I'm the executor. I make the decision, so screw him. Right? So, like, that's another example where it's like, oops. Didn't see that one coming. Now, then part of me's like, but she was the quiet one. I was responding to all the dudes' questions. Like, still my failure. Didn't realize. So, these are the sort of perspectives and things where people are like, oh, you just sell courses. Courses are a scam. It's like, well, I don't think so, because they obviously provide perspective that other people generally wouldn't get. We have our Black Friday going at meetkevin.com. You already know about that. But so here are the priorities. We're going to have our schedule for YouTube, which, again, there's a live podcast and the politics, and those are recorded. You could go watch them right now and get a sample of them. Then the biggest priority that's taking the vast majority of my time right now is HouseHack. And so, just as an example, yesterday I took off at 11:05, and look at, I'll tell you my schedule yesterday just so you could see it. So yesterday, my schedule, I put it all on the calendar. Stock Market Open Live, 5:25. Course Member Live at 6:45. Meet Kevin Podcast, we filmed that starting at 7:55. Meet Kevin Politics Live was at 9. I filmed my Tesla video at 10 a.m., which I thought was very good, but whatever, people are mad about. I had my flight at 11:05. As soon as I hit the tarmac, I had a Yahoo Finance interview. Then I had to drive 30 minutes to meet a real estate agent. Checked out 5 different properties. Flew to another destination, which was really nice because it was like a 12-minute flight, which I know that sounds ridiculous. Like, oh my God, you're taking a 12-minute flight. But it was, like, here's how it went down, okay? Property hits the market at 3:30 p.m. I'm supposed to take off at 4:15-ish out of one city. And I'm like, pilots, this deal just hit the market. It's a 2.5-hour drive if I drive there right now. Can we pit stop over there? And I could get the free crew car, which is awesome because they give you like a free car. It's generally for the pilots. But it was like, yo, I literally just need to go from here to there, round trip, 10 minutes at this property and round trip. I'll be back really fast, less than an hour. Can I take the crew car? They're like, sure thing, man. Here's the key. Take the crew car, 12-minute flight, take the crew car, go look at the property, come back, boom, write an offer. Then fly back home. And so it's like, okay, all right, that's a busy day because now, I'm at this property at 5:30 after I just hit the market 2 hours ago before the open house weekend craze. Then I'm, over at, flying home to bring one of our, well, not only get me home, but we also doubled up and brought one of our contracting team members home from the jobs that they were working on the area. And now I'm filming this video here, and in 90 minutes, I'm going to be on a plane going to the next destination. So HouseHack is a really big deal. HouseHack is the core of what's going on right now, and there's a lot of work to do. So I'm really excited about it. It's something I know how to do very well, and we've been doing a fantastic job so far with HouseHack. I'm actually really impressed with how well, knock on wood, it's getting started. So I'm very excited about that. A lot of people, they wonder, hey, how hard is it to run an actively managed ETF and all the other stuff that you've got going on with regulation world and stuff like that. It actually doesn't take as much time as you think. It's actually been really fantastic. We're in a place right now where I think we're in really good graces, and I hope it stays that way, knock on wood. I think we're in great graces with the companies we work with FINRA, which is a regulator, with the SEC. These are they're the cops. They're the cops on the street. And I feel like the relationship we have right now is, we walk down the street and we're like, oh, hey, FINRA. Oh, hey, SEC. And they're like, oh, hey, Meet Kevin. Keep up that disclosure. And it's like, you got it, So I feel really happy about that. But, it's interesting because, like pain in business, in the business cycle, comes in sort of waves. And it's like, right now, I'd say there's probably pain in YouTube, but it's offset by really, really great success with not only HouseHack, but the broker-dealer world, but also these twins. You want to see one of the twins? Let me see. I think at 8:30 is feeding time. It's 8:28. I'll be right back. This is Claire. Hello, Claire. This is Claire. Claire, isn't it a little bright out there? I'm sorry, it's so bright out there. Oh, that's a prescription. You see this prescription right here? It says Tesla. Buy the dip. Yeah, you got the hiccups, don't you? Oh. So, anyway, I think that's, yeah, I guess, there are ups and downs in life. Everybody goes through them. Well, there are definitely some downs right now on YouTube. I have to say, I'm so fortunate to be able to have 2 little beautiful twin girls right here. Just a few weeks old, born on October 26th. So what is that, 3.5-ish weeks old now, coming up on 4 weeks. Now, in fairness, they were a little preemie. You were born at 35 weeks, weren't you? So you're technically only about 38 weeks old. You're technically only supposed to be coming out right now. You were a little early, weren't you? Yeah. Oh, it's so bright. I know I'm going to get you out of here, okay? It's too bright in here. It's probably too bright and cold, huh? Too bright and cold. Anyway, yeah, hey, you know what? Ups and downs in life. What I found, though, is every time things felt really, really dark and like the end was near, it was just leading up to the next beautiful beginning. Isn't that right? You want to make thumbnail faces with me? Okay, Claire, we're already teaching her how to make really good thumbnail faces. Go ahead and with those eyes. Yeah, good thumbnail faces. Yeah, hey, how you doing? This is your awake time, isn't it? For a little bit for your breakfast feed. Y'all sleep like 20 hours a day. Yep. Y'all sleep like 4 Kevin sleeps per day. All right. Why don't you say goodbye? Yeah, the hand moved a little bit. Anyway, thanks so much for your support. Watch me where you want the content that you want. In fairness, might not be recommended the channel a lot because there's so much like confusion and stuff right now. So I think the algorithm, might not be pushing it as much until we sort of rebuild and get it all set up again. But I'm confident that eventually we will get that fixed. So you might just have to search for me, Kevin, and along with that means you'll get to scroll past all the people who want to make sure to remind you of all my failures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.